I designed this device called Wellhead Christmas tree to use in a Unity project. Here's how I did it. Using a reference image, I started to create the basic shape of the object, without worrying too much about the actual size. That's something I will adjust later. At this moment, I only care that all the parts have a proportional size between each other. Also, the polygons should not be too excessive because we are gonna use this model in a graphics engine, but I also don't want the model to look too low resolution. This is an important model that the camera will focus directly. Reusing some parts, I created the valves, I added a torus for the steering wheel, and adjusted the sizes and subdivisions, making sure there was geometry to create the rest of the steering wheel. Once I finished creating one steering valve, I duplicated it to create the rest. I added some extra details and modeled the pressure gauge, then duplicated this gauge to place it where it was needed. Next, I applied a material to the model and worked on shading. I use Auto Smooth and adjust the angle to make the model look correct. I'm gonna take this model to Substance Painter to create textures for the red material, so I create the UV map of the model. At this point, I started to adjust the scale of the model so that it has the right height when I take it to Unity. First, I took as a reference the pressure gauge, then I add the model of a person to have an idea of the size, and I looked for a reference to give it the final adjustment. Once this was done, I took the model to Substance Painter, and here, first of all, it's important to make a bake of all the maps for the material we're interested in. These maps are necessary for Substance to perform calculations when applying a smart material, like the one we're seeing now. I adjust the parameters, lower the roughness to give it more shininess, make the bumps more deep, and with this I already have a nice texture for my model, so I go back to Blender and apply the texture to the 3D model using shader nodes. Finally, I take everything to Unity. Here I create a new material to apply to the model, set up the textures, add the 3D model to the scene, and this was the result. At this point, it would only be necessary to define the final size of the object, and then separate the valves into individual objects to be able to interact with them and add the spinning animation. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye!